Welcome to Game Related, where we highlight opportunities and obstacles from former athletes with the thought process of giving the future generation a better understanding of the game.
Yes, these conversations are meant to bring awareness to the possibilities and the hardships that come with the game. Let's get game related.
All right, y'all, we got a special guest. I would laugh and say the young kids would say he's a burger boy, right? McDonald's All-American, that's what they say now. All right, our first McDonald's All-American, we got our guy Travis Garrison in the building. Gonna talk to us about his time playing, the pressures of staying at home in college, becoming a McDonald's All-American, his time overseas, what he has going on at Think First, right? And we just happy to have him on the show. All right, welcome.
I definitely appreciate you guys having me. Definitely appreciate a long time, man. Dematha Gonzaga, you know how that rival is.
Yeah, absolutely. We was just talking about how they beat us by 25 our last game before he was gone.
So. It wasn't nothing personal, man. It wasn't nothing personal.
I took it personal. All right, man, let's get into it. So what I want to ask is, everybody wants to climb that ladder to get successful, right? And we spend a lot of time working to get to the top, but maintaining that level of success,
right.
Like how would you tell folks to maintain it? What do you have to do to stay on that level?
When, for example, man, like when I was in high school, like I had two older brothers, right, like 6 and 9 years older than me. Like my oldest brother was like a workaholic, man. Like he just stayed trained. I got a lot of my habits from him. And he used to go jump up in the middle of the street, always driven into the court with his offhand. Remember those calf shoes?
I had them.
he used to walk around in those, man. He used to have weights on his ankles and all. So I used to watch all that, man. Then I have an uncle who got drafted by the 76ers, man. He was really good. So I just seen what they did, man. But my brother told me, he was like, yeah, man, you gotta carry it. Whereas anytime you're not working, somebody else is. So once he told me that scared me, bro. Really scared me. So every time I had an opportunity, I was working out doing something. If I'm at home, I was doing push-ups, sit-ups, I was doing calf raises. Every time a commercial came on, that was my mindset because I was always worried, like, dang, I'm just chilling, somebody else working. That was my mindset. So that's just what I just started using, man. I tell kids the same thing. Like, you gotta understand, like, you ain't training, somebody else training, bro. Like, even if it's a crazy mentality, like, sometimes when you sleep, the time different, all that people are training. But when I was in high school, I was like, there's no way that anybody's doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just my mindset. And I don't know if y'all know Joe Forte, but his brother, Jason, was like, man, Joe carried it, whereas he was ranked high. So his mindset was like everybody else under him was trying to get his spot. So he was trying to work harder for nobody else can get that. So you just got to stay on top of your game, regardless of what you're doing, whether it's sports related or business wise. There's always somebody that's trying to get that spot. So what do you have to do to maintain that spot, but just keep going on? Like think about Michael Jordan, LeBron, and all them dudes. Like you got to be consistently great every year. You got to put that work in. You know what I'm saying? And if people don't understand that, and you just got to continue to work at whatever it is you're good at, try to become great at. But it's like a everyday thing. You got to continue to build on it every day because one day you take off, man. Somebody gets up past you, and that's leave you behind. I've seen it in the game of basketball. Carmelo, he was top 100 our sophomore year, and he grew them inches over the summer, and everything during that summer you hear about Carmelo Anthony. He ended up being like top 5 before the year was out. You know what I'm saying? But he worked though. You know what I mean? So it's like another dudes got left behind. So it's tell dudes, man, you just gotta have that mindset where you always think about somebody trying to get you a spot.
And what you think about even back then you'll have your circle around you, right? Sometimes it's just the young folks, sometimes it be the parents, right? Like how do you keep them level-headed and they hyping you up, telling you how good you are? How would you say you keep them in order? How do you deal with them?
Honestly, bro, like for me, like I had that, but like I ain't have it as bad as other guys probably do. You know what I mean? Like my circle was kind of small. I had people around me, like I ended up having like a mentor that kind of was like putting up a lot of stuff I didn't know. So a lot of times I'd be on calls with NBA GMs or other coaches without them knowing I was on there, and I'll hear what they saying. So I don't think that was the right way to go about it, because now your head can kind of big, you know what I mean?
Because you getting all that access.
You get all that. I mean, you hearing what they saying. You're like, yeah, you know what I mean? But like, you know, if you just have the yes people around you, man, I don't think it's a good thing, because who's gonna hold you accountable? I mean, I think a lot of kids are dealing with that right now, because everybody around them is the yes people. They want to get a piece of what they're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So, but then when they get caught in a situation, you know, they don't have nobody that's going to hold them accountable. Now they caught up. Now they're in the situation. Now they lose whatever possibilities they have, and the people that was around them, they go away. Now you're on your own. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to have that mindset, like, you know, if you don't got nobody around you that's holding you accountable for your actions or giving to you 100, then they ain't the right people to be around. Because there's no way you're gonna make it, bro. Because I've been there, bro. I had people around that was just going with the flow with me. You know, like anytime I'm going out, like at Maryland, I'd be going out, I was partying like crazy, man. I had nobody that's like, you know, pulling my coach like, nah, son, you ain't going out tonight. You going to the gym. I had people on the outside that was telling me that's what I should be doing, but my people, I ain't have that. So I mean, if you want to be successful at anything, you gotta have them people around that's gonna be like, nah, that ain't cool. You know what I mean? We can't do that. We can't do that. You know, we ain't going out tonight. You know what I mean? You gotta have those people.
It's crazy you said that. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I always ask folks, them same people that's hanging with you, are they getting up in the morning with you? Are they in the gym with you, getting up shots? Are they rebounding with you?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Are they just here for the fun stuff?
Right.
Not the grind, right? And you kind of gotta put them in a position to serve the purpose of your goal.
Right.
And if they can't do that, you know, it's telling you something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, next question I wanted to ask is, growing up, you kind of mentioned about your brothers, right?
Yeah.
Was there anybody, you know, we grew up in an era, in my opinion, where we was outside. You know, we played ball, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you go to a court, it might be 100 people outside, right?
Fact,
and so,
right.
like, to even get on the court, you had to earn your stripes, or you just had to sit still until you was good enough, right? So, like, was there anybody on the playground or at a rec center that you was like, man, he was so good. He might not have played ball in college or the NBA, but he was that dude. And you was like, man, I want to pattern my game or certain things out of that.
I think for me, bro, like the crazy part is before I went to Dematha, I didn't know nothing about college basketball. Like I didn't know the history of nothing like that. I watched like NBA games that come on, but like I said, my brothers are 6 and 9 years older than me, so they was.
Were they tall too?
They were tall. They hooped. They was good too. Like one went to McDonald, one went to Suitland. He went to St. John's, but he ain't like the whole ROTC thing. He kind of got by there. He wasn't that type of dude. So, but like they was the one. They was the dudes around the way, and the dudes like they was the ones that was like known and all that. But like in my neighborhood, even I had a couple of older guys around me. Then like we had like 3 different parts at 3 different schools, and it was the older guys playing. So I was trying to get on the court, but I wasn't getting on the court. They was better than me. They just had that more skill, that raw skill, that playground skills, you know. So I started playing with them, and then just, you know, obviously they was killing me, bro. But like I ended up, they made me tougher though. You know what I mean? They made me tougher, man. So I would just go around to the different playgrounds and play with them, and I'm getting that knowledge like that. But like those the guys who I looked up to, my friends. They were better than me at the time. And then once I really started getting it, and then my mindset was like, yo, I'm gonna go back and play them dudes. They used to dog me when I was a kid. That was my mindset. So I had the older guys in the court. I hold grudges like that. So my older brothers, they was a lot better than me, and I would play them. They would dog me, and they wouldn't hold no ground until they wouldn't give me no slack. You know what I'm saying? So once I was able to be my middle brother, I was like, all right, cool. And then my older brother was next, and once I beat him, bro, like.
What age was that?
I think I was like, I might have been like, I think I was at Dematha. So it might have been like 15, 14, 15. And once I beat him, I was like, yo, I'm just on. Like nobody gonna be able to stop me, because he was the dude. But then I had my uncle, like I said, who was Missouri State all-time leading scorer, got drafted. And he used to talk crazy. He was like 6'8", could shoot it, and was like got the handles. So he was in Kansas City. So I ended up going back and playing him and dogging him. Because like I said, my mindset, I remember when I was a kid and y'all used to push me around. So I'm going back and get mine from everybody. But I would say like my older brothers and then like the guys around the neighborhood that used to, like I said, the playground ball was different. They didn't care who you was. Even when I was at Dematha, I come back, they didn't care who I was. You know what I mean? They was like, nah, you gonna get this work. But yeah, man. So that I got it from them, the older guys in the neighborhood.
When did you learn how to shoot? Like, cause you always, from what when I ran into you, you could always shoot, right? Like, was that something? Obviously, you were tall, and so most people be like, go in the box.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Like, when did you develop that jump shot, and what made you continue to have it instead of being I won't even say traditional,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Most guys is back to the basket,
Right.
hook shot, stuff
Right.
like that. Like, you know what I mean. Talk
Yeah.
about that.
So my mom worked like 2, 3 jobs, so she was not really home that much. So my brothers went places. I used to have to go with them. My older brother stayed at the court all the time. Like
Okay.
we would do from morning to night. He stayed there. So I used to have to go to the court with him. So one day after he finished training and working out, he like told me the form of shoe, like the correct form, like all this and that. You hold your so he started teaching. It was like I remember like it was yesterday. We was at a park and it was like nighttime, and he just like teach me like the correct form of shooting and all that. And then watching Michael Jordan tapes. So everything it's funny because the jump shot you're talking about. I used to have to come fly with me. I think the air up there and all that. So he video these cassette tapes, that's show
It's like Nintendo right there.
So like he used to watch those tapes before he used to play his games.
Uh-huh.
So everything he used to do, I just mimicked.
Mm.
But he was a great shooter. He's a left-handed too. So he taught me. Then like my uncle, he taught me like we did a lot of drill. He was a great shooter too. So they just taught me like different ways to shoot it and forms and all that. And I used to, for me, I was super passionate about the game of basketball, bro. Like I used to stay at the court all day long. Like my friends, I wake up in the morning like around 8 in the morning, go to the gym, I wash my face, eat a bowl of cereal, run to the court, and like shoot by myself, do little drills. This is like honestly, this is like a 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll come back, get my friends, we'll go back to the court, we'll hoop. I go back, take a shower, then I go back when the older guys up there. So that was my routine.
Lifestyle.
But like just some guys around my neighborhood was good shooters. So just watching Michael Jordan with the fadeaways, I had to go up there joining the practice. So I ain't had no trainer. So I used to go up there and practice everything I saw that he did. So that's why he's like, man, why he's 6'9" and he out there shooting jump shots? That's how I learned the game from watching that. So yeah, I learned it from, like I said, I would say like my older brother and then my uncle. They told me like the form of shooting and it kind of just stayed. And then working with different trainers, Keith Beanie, the different ways to go about shooting. It's crazy. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah,
Everything like swinging through like so. The Tim Duncan style, like all these different forms of shooting, like it was not that I became obsessed with it, but like perfecting it,
Nah, that's crazy. And he had a very sweet jumper. So so let's get into high school a little bit. McDonald's All-American, right? You could have probably went anywhere you wanted to, but you decided to stay home, right? What was that process like? Did you like want to stay home to be a hometown hero? Like, why did you select Maryland out of all places?
Man, that's a funny story. So for me, honestly, I didn't even like Maryland. I didn't even like Maryland. Like I said, going back and saying like when I went to Dematha, I didn't know anything about the recruiting process, college basketball, or the history of it. I didn't know anything about anything. I learned. I got a fast course lesson when I went to Dematha, and I seen during summertime and all the coaches coming in. I'm like, who's that? Who's that? Who is that? So, but obviously Maryland right down the street. I like Terrence Moore's game. I was a big fan of his. As I started to learn the college game, then my mom, she wanted to come to the game, so the easy access to get to the games and things like that. So it had to be closer to my friends and things of that nature. But I just thought that Maryland system kind of fit me better because I guess I was mimicking Terrence Moore, so I was like, okay, I could be him. And to be honest, the truth of the matter is, a lot of other schools that was on my list, I couldn't get in because I ain't had the grades. To be honest with you, I'm gonna keep it honest. So like Notre Dame was up there, Georgia Tech was up there, Michigan with Tommy Amick. I love Michigan, but it was just that 15-hour drive, and my mom wanted to come to the game. I mean, thank God that. I mean, I love Tommy, but they ended up getting that violation the very next year, so they couldn't go to the NCAA tournament. But I love Tommy Amick. but that drive was gonna be crazy for my mom's. You know what I mean?
15 hours.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff went into consideration. And like I said, the fact that some schools I just couldn't get in because of the grades. I ain't had the grades and SAT scores, so that played a factor as well. But I mean, it was good to stay home, neighborhood, Dematha right down the street. So yeah.
Did you feel like once you were there, it brought like a lot of, I guess, distractions just with you being there, people having access to you?
Yeah. Honestly, bro, like I looking back on it now, I think so because, like I said, I went in blindsided. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was getting. I didn't really know the magnitude of what I was being looked at. For me, I'm like, I'm just Travis, went to the Dematha, like I'm just coming here to hoop. Whereas they looking at me like, yo, we just won the national championship. We got this dude, McDonald's All American, come from the Dematha, or he gonna take us there again. That was their expectations. But I'm like, I'm just a regular dude. You know what I mean? I didn't know the expectation levels and all that. So then just being around there, I got on campus during the summertime. We ended up going out, and I was going out with some older guys that used to take me out. And I remember the guy at the front door was like, "Nah, he ain't coming. He ain't old enough." I'm like, "How you don't even know me? What you mean? Like, I'm like, you don't even know me? I ain't gonna say you don't know my age or nothing." But he's like, "I know who he is. He ain't coming." I'm like, "How you know me?" And then so I didn't, like I said, then a crash course on that they. I mean, you come on, man. You know what I mean? But I didn't understand. I didn't understand at the time. So it's just like then like having access to whatever. I tell kids all the time, and I tell people all the time. It was like when I was playing at Maryland, it was like I was in the league without the money. I had access to everything. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing I couldn't do. I was doing everything that all these celebrities coming in and was doing. They treated me like that. I just didn't have the money. You know what I mean? But I had access to whatever I wanted. And it's if you ain't got the right mindset or had that discipline to like, all right, I'm going to school, I'm going to hoop, and get to league. That's my main goal. That's it. But for me, I used to watch music videos when I was in high school, bro, and I used to see Jay-Z, the girls, the drinking. I'm like, oh man, I could get that. You know? I was like, yo, I'm like they in the club, partying all the time. I'm like, oh man, that's what comes with that. I saw he got game. I was like, oh man, we get all that. Jesus. We get all that. So it was that, man. I tell people all the time, man, like once I got up there, man, I got caught in the whirlwind. It was like once you get caught in that, and then this is back when DC was DC. Man, they had Dream nightclub. The clubs was really good back then, man. So it was
that was a different time.
Oh man, I was there every Friday. You know what I'm saying? I was there. And you got dudes in the league looking at me like, yo, like what you doing here, man? I just lost a lot of money on you. Like, what you doing here? I'm losing too. So it was but yeah, man, I would say that being home, I think, was kind of a distraction. But honestly, man, just the way my mindset was, I think anywhere I would have went, I'd probably been distracted. It's just, I think it's a mindset thing. I could have stayed here and been like locked in, like, yo, I'm going here, I'm staying at the gym. You know what I mean? But so it's just depends on the individual and their mindset. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so now we at Maryland. So how was it playing for Gary Williams? Because outside looking in, he seems like he's very fiery, very intense. Just how was that experience?
For me, man, I get that question a lot because you got Coach Wooten and you got Gary, and they're like, man, like what's the difference? I said, honestly, there ain't really no difference, believe it or not. Gary, he'd say it on his face, he express it. Coach would use it in his words. You know what I'm saying? So he was super sarcastic. So he was just as far as you think that Coach Williams is, Coach Wooten was like that with his words, though. You know what I'm saying? He was very good with his words and I know how to get to you. But Coach Williams, he was cool, man. People, I think, because they see him on the final, he's just a passionate. He played the game, so he's just super passionate. And I think that's what it was. The misconstrued that people get from him is like, because he seems so hype, but he's just a dude that can't hoop no more. That's just super passionate about the game, but super cool behind the scenes, man. In practice, you want the best for his players. And if you love the game and you really into it, man, he gonna rock with you. But if you like how I was, he can see the potential, but to see he know I'm out partying all the time, he like, man, he don't really rock with that too heavy. And but it was good though. Like we cool now, man, and like he know the game, he love the game, he want what's best for you, So
Okay. So and then you spoke about earlier coming to Maryland and you're All American and it's high expectations.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of deal with that around that time, being young, coming in, because coming from Dematha All American, you the man,
Yeah,
and now you're on this team, and normally when we make that transition, we not the man anymore. We
right,
still got to prove ourselves,
right,
but at the same time, you still coming in
right.
as an All American. Like, how was that whole situation?
Um, like I said, it was a transition, man. Like for me, I walked on campus. I mean, honestly, my mindset was like, yeah, I'm gonna do a year or two and I'm out. That was that's what my mind said. Like because I'm saying I'm a McDonald's on American. They said like 1 or 2 years. That's what I'm supposed to do. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. So I was like, so I kind of carried that McDonald's status with me. And then like I used the politics honestly. Like like Coach Wooten, like I went to the math. And like that could help me too. So I'm good. I'm good. That was my mindset. But in reality, nah. It's like what have you done lately type mindset when you get to college, bro. Like, yeah, you could be a McDonald's All American and all that, but like if you ain't keeping that same mindset going into college, they don't care about nothing about that. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of like how I carried it. And obviously you had guys on the team that's like, oh, he's going to be McDonald's All American, and that's you just want to lead us back to the promised land. They just won a national championship, but you had the seniors on the team they worked their way up. They just won a national championship, so they expecting you to come in and to basically maintain that. So I don't think I was prepared for that. You know what I mean? Then I was one of them dudes that used to read the blogs and read the papers, and I mean, you get caught up in that. That's a whole different thing. You know what I'm
Did
saying?
you have like a fake account every
Nah,
talking?
nah, I mean, obviously you know that back then, but I was just reading like so my mindset. I was trying to please everybody else's expectations. You know what I mean? So like I honestly, bro, like when I was in college, like knowing what I know now, I was like depressed heavily. You know what I mean? And because of the expectations, what people wanted from me and what they expected from me, and me trying to please everybody, and yeah, man. So I got caught up in a lot of stuff mentally um, that I struggled with. So it was hard, man. Like I said, because being a McDonald's All American, because like you said, now they expect you to be doing to do a year or 2 years in college, then you got to go. If you stay longer than that, then it ain't gonna work out for you. You know what I mean? Especially if you come in as a McDonald's All American. That's just like the expectations, and I heard that from somebody that's like a president of an NBA team now. But he told me back then, like, yeah, man, you McDonald's American, they expecting a year, 2, you got it there.
Yep. That kind of happened with Diamond Stone.
Yeah. So it's like you stay too long. I mean, so that was that pressure too. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. So your junior year, you definitely had a good year. You was getting a good groove. So what was the kind of the turning point to that? Because you had the adversity or the pressure coming to those first early years, and then now, was it more that you got comfortable with the style, better relationship with the team, like, and what kind of additions did you add to your game to continue to have that awesome junior year going into the senior year?
I think so it was a couple of things. Like I said, because when I was at Maryland, like I was going through a lot of depression, a lot of things, so I was like always like depressed. I was isolating myself from everybody. But like going into the ACC tournament, I started watching like the high school games. I think we was playing y'all. It's like, but nah, like I started watching my high school tapes, man, before the tournament, and I just seen how happy I was playing the game, and I think I was missing that. Playing that run, I just wasn't happy, So I just went back to just having fun. So, and I seen what the outcome of doing that was in the tournament. I played pretty well then. And then that summer, that summer I went to the NBA camp in Vegas.
Okay.
So that's where like most of the NBA guys go, and they work out with the coaches. Like a lot of the coaches go down there and they train with them. So I went to that. That was the time when they was allowing some college players to come through. They don't do it anymore. But I went down there and I worked out with the coaches there, and just like playing with the NBA dudes, it was just like it just did something to my confidence. So when I went back to campus before we went to Italy for that summer trip, like my game was different. And Coach Williams looked like, dang, like I'm handling it different. Like my confidence is through the roof. So that was like the turning point, like the ACC tournament, and then going to NBA camp, and then going in, I was like, yeah, this is my year right here. You know what I mean? That was that right there was most like the AC tournament, getting that confidence back, going to the camp, and then just working a little harder, you know, just having a different mindset.
Okay. But so around that time of kind of the depression, right? Um, when I think about it now, I guess colleges should have, if they would have some type of resource that would be on campus
Yeah.
that you can go and talk to. Because
Right.
if you're an athlete, like you said, you was isolating yourself.
Right.
Like at that time, who can you talk to and
Right.
really kind of,
Yeah.
to get yourself mentally
Yeah.
back to the space, you know what I'm saying, to get back on track with basketball. Like you said,
Right.
you was watching the high school games
Yeah.
that was kind of the catalyst that got
Right.
everything
Right.
up jump started.
Yeah.
So, do they have anything like that?
Yeah, they do now. They have like counselors, therapy that people can that's on staff now. Because everything's mental health now.
Yeah.
And you said even the NBA, everything's mental health. I mean, I wish we'd have had that back when I was in college. That would have been very beneficial. But like we was told, like, oh man, suck it up, you'll be all right. You know what I mean? Like toughen up, man. Now we had that was that mentality. So who you gonna talk to your teammates? They're gonna clown you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like for example, I was just in California speaking to at his prep with a prep team, and some of the guys was talking about that. Like what do you do about the health? Like, how do I bounce back from a poor job? Because they in their head, you in your head, you think you're an athlete, you in your head all the time. Like, oh, I made a mistake, or on the court I had a bad game. Like, how do you bounce back from that? Like, I know these expectations, so I think it's critical that you can have somebody that you need it, where you can have somebody that you can talk to, whomever it is. You know what I mean? A lot of times you don't want to talk to your teammates because you think, well, they're gonna clown you.
Yeah.
But you gotta have somebody to talk to, man. Because especially nowadays, it's even worse than what it was back then. Because you got social media now, and then you're getting killed on social media. And if you're one of those guys that read social media now, like, and you got thousands of people on your neck. I mean, I seen it.
10x.
Bro, I seen it. I seen it like with situations now, and you can see it affect the players. There's a lot of stuff, man. You gotta have that tough skin, and don't read all into that social media stuff, but also have somebody that you can talk to about situations. Like, I think that's critical. But they are big into that now, that mental health stuff.
Yeah, I think that definitely dials back into that support system who you have around you, right?
Right.
Somebody can see you in a bad space and kind of where you can lean on them to have those conversations,
Right.
just kind of keep you grounded in your direction. So
that's critical. It's critical right now. Critical right now. It's definitely a necessity.
okay, so one of the most important, what we always say, especially playing professional, is selecting an agent.
Yeah.
Like, how is that process? Did you stay with that one guy the entire time? And just with the process, because for us, I don't know how it was with you, but going into selecting, we have no handbook,
right,
what to do. Like, we just all new to this process.
Yeah.
And you're gonna make your mistakes along the way. So,
Right.
Definitely after you finish those two, but to give, a youngster that's in that position, advice on how to move through making that selection.
Man, I lost a lot of money. You can lose a lot of money making the bad choice. But there's an agent on where you go play. I didn't know, like you said, I didn't have a crash course. I didn't have anything. I didn't have somebody say, "Hey, man, like, look, this is great." I mean, you have people that's like, "Hey, talk to my agent," but that's the agent told them, tell you to go holler at them. So it's hard, man. It's for me, like, I think in the position I was in, it was critical to have a good agent because I was trying to, like, I was just getting back on the scene or getting back on the radar. I needed somebody that had those connections that was good enough and powerful enough that can keep pushing you, get me through the door. I needed that. Some people need that. LeBron didn't need that. That's why he's able to hire his guy because LeBron he can do it. He can write his own contract. Some people can't do that. You need a good agent. So it was tough for me, like especially at this pre-draft camp I went to. Right after the game, all the agents rush you, like before you even get off the court. So literally, they run up. As soon as the game over, they run up to you and they like, "Hey, let's have a meeting. Let's have a meeting. Let's have a meeting." So they give you their card, and they want to meet with you, and you don't know because you don't have nobody that's right next to you. Like, "Hey, man, holler at him," or "He's a good dude," or there were some agents like, "Hey, I represent X, Y, and Z. Holler at him." They will call me, the person that they represent, and like for example, James White. Like his agent, he's like, "Yo, holla at James." I called James. James called me, like, "Yo, he good. He's solid, rule." And but some people don't have that, so it's like you go in there and blinded. And some people go with the name, and that ain't how that ain't something you should do because I think, for example, like CAA, they had everybody, Iverson, all that. So you just a number on the roster.
You ain't really a
Oh
priority.
man, they got like 200, 300 clients, and they all making top dollar. So what? So you might get their other agents that's below them. You know what I mean? So you get caught up in that. But I tell guys all the time, man, get somebody that's gonna work for you. You know what I mean? Somebody that's solid, that's like have some a name, but you need somebody that's gonna like that care about you and is gonna work for you and that's willing to put the time in over anything. So that outweighs the name all day long. Because like I said, you go with the name, you're just a roster. So the name might get you in situations, but it's just it's a play to kind of. I've been in situations where I signed with a new agent. They got me a workout with the NBA team. They got a connection with the NBA team, so the workout was just like the favor. So it's stuff like that. It's like tricks in because you got to think. You play here in the league. The agent get like what 4%. You go overseas, they get 10%. So they're gonna get you over there in a situation because of other guys they got. And so it's you just got to know and have some type of knowledge in regards to that. But I always do something and work with somebody that that basically got your best
interest.
Best interest. That's the most important thing. You know what I mean? That's gonna work for you. You know what I mean? Don't just go with a name. That's gonna put you in a situation. So that's the advice I would give kids. Just go with somebody that cares about you and you have the best interest. You gotta kind of decipher who's real and who's fake. I mean, it's just one of those. This is one of those games, man, and it's tougher now. I don't even know how it is right now, bro. Yeah. Honestly, I don't even want to know how it is right now. You know, with NIL deals and all other things, man. But you just gotta cipher through all that stuff, man, and it kind of play out as it go along and see who really has your best interest at heart. And yeah, I ran through the agents, bro. Like I bounced around because I just didn't know. You know, if I'd had this one agent when I was going through like coming out of college and going through that process, I'd have made a team for sure. Because he saw me when I was training in the summertime in Florida and was like, hey, are you working for this team? You working for this team? You working out for that team? They got availability. He knew everything. And that's what I needed and I didn't have it.
Okay. What I wanted to ask you was any specific questions that you would ask an agent now? Like if they were coming up to you, like anything that you would be aggressive as far as like on the offensive side, what would you ask them to kind of help you make a better decision?
Probably like what players do they represent? Like what connections they have in regards to whether it's here in the States or overseas. Because a lot of agents have affiliates in different countries. Mm-hmm. So you definitely want that. And what's their plan for you? You know, like what's their plan for you? You know what I mean? Like I said, I had an agent that shot it to me straight. Like, do you want to be a small fish in a big pond or a big fish in a small pond? Money is money. I mean, I can max you out at situation, and you could be great in that small market, but make a lot of money. But like I said, if you're going for the name, so just having somebody like that, just asking somebody like I said, in regards to who on their roster, what connections do they have, and things like that. I think that's important questions.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that was a good one though. I mean, when you said you want to be a big fish in a small conference, or or vice versa, like
it's a thing, man.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I mean, a lot of guys, like I said, in every aspect, like go for the name or a team like that, but you might just be on the last man on the roster or whatever. Like, so it all depends on who you want. Even getting to the league, so you got a contract over in Italy for 500,000, or do you want to go and just be on the team on the roster and make 500,000 with that team? I mean, you got to think about it. If you go with the NBA team, you might not play at all, and that's going to get cut in half. That 500,000, and who knows? Like or you go to Italy, be the man, get 500,000 tax free, live like a king. Get the house, get the cars, get all this and that. Billboard, and you get to play.
Yeah.
But like I say, you go for the name, I'm in the league. But you go over here, be the man, and get that money and continue to build. So it's
totally different experience.
Yeah, literally.
Mm-hmm. So you got drafted in, I think when we were playing, it was the D League, right? Mm-hmm. So you got drafted in the D League, but you was also drafted in the CBA.
Yeah.
How did that work? Like, talk about that.
I don't even know, bro. I honestly don't. I really don't know to this day. Like the team that drafted me in CBA, I didn't even play for them. It was. So I think I think how it works is as soon as you're a senior, your name is put in this draft or whatever, and then it's selected like that. So I didn't know anything about the CBA. Until I started looking at my resume, I was like, what? So I think some people reached out to me about that. The D League was something that people said because that was like I was so close to making a team, and the Lakers was the one that picked me up, you know. So that was the team that showed interest. So it like worked out like that. But like I said, I didn't know nothing about nothing. I just didn't know, man. I just didn't have that knowledge. You know, my whole thing was my one track mind was the league. It was the league. That's all I didn't know about. I didn't care about overseas. I didn't care about the league. I want to get here. Where I was getting offers from overseas for like 6 figures, but everybody's like, I should just go to the D League. This back then, when you want to make your contract is 24,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's tax. You know, and you might not like you got to think how many other dudes are on the team. And you got guys coming down from the Lakers or whoever playing the team. So you got the man. So I'm turning down good money over here because the Lakers want me to come and the training. So it was just, if I knew what I knew now, man, you know, I turned a lot of money down, lost a lot of money, you know, for, you know, a lot of different reasons, man, you know, just not being locked in, the focus, man. But yeah, man, I didn't know the whole CBA thing. I still, I'm like, the team that drafted me, I didn't know nothing about them, but I did end up playing in the CBA.
You got rookie of the year, right?
Yeah, I should have got MVP. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was Jamario Moon got MVP that year. He was the one that played with the Knicks.
Bouncy.
Yeah, bouncy. Yeah. I ain't know nothing about him there, but anyway. But like, so my mindset was like, okay, I still was in the States. Teams will come to the games. Like NBA teams come to the games. But my coach had the mentality like he was a college. He was like, "You're a rookie. You shouldn't play." Because the thing about the CBA, you can have you play the team 2 days in a row. So like for example, I was in New York and we played this team. Felipe Lopez was playing at the time.
Okay.
This one he was still kind of heavy, but
St. John's, right?
Yep. So I had like 30 that game. The next game I ain't even really played probably about 5 minutes because I was a rookie and you don't play that. That's my coach's mentality. So I was hot. That was a whole different sense. I was hot. But that's just how they treated. But like I said, in my mind, I was like, yo, I should have got MVP. That, you know what I mean? That's what I thought. But I take rookie of the year. That was cool. But yeah.
So around that time, was that when you started? We talked offline about you actually getting some training from Keith Williams. Was that around that time when you was working with Keith, when you was the rookie of the year?
I still was working with Keith around that time. So I started working with Keith once I left Maryland. I left Maryland like a semester before school let out. And I started training with Keith to get ready for pre-draft camps. So that's when I started working with Keith. And then like during all seasons, I was training with Keith Williams, who was a great trainer, obviously trained so many dudes. And even during that time, you know, during the summertime, everybody's back and everybody's training together.
What was working so well for you that year when you was the rookie of the year? Like what? Just talk about on the court. What was you doing well?
I mean, honestly, it's funny because, like I said, my career at Maryland, you know, what I mean, people see it one way, but like my professional career was like me back from like my skill level from high school, like in regards to shooting and running, just having that confidence. So everything I'm saying, like ball handling, shooting, rebounding, the aggressiveness. I mean, everything was just clicking. I'm talking like I had everything, man. Like I said, the three I was consistently just that mindset, that confidence.
Okay. All right. So what would you say, obviously, systemized is a little bit different, all right, when you kind of got into it, but like the biggest difference adjustment-wise from playing in college to playing overseas. When I say overseas, it could be overseas and in the D League. Like, what's the biggest difference outside of just the system, like the style of play? Like, what's the biggest difference?
Man, it all depends on what country you go to. All depends on what country you go to. That's a big factor. Some countries I go and I'm a 5, but I'm on the perimeter a lot. And you know, it was just, like I said, that man, the way the game is played over there, it's mostly like the big men. I mean, you 3, 4, you perimeter players. You know what I mean? And you kind of go float. Whereas here in the D League or whatever, like obviously it's like you sticking to what you might be in the league or whatever that coach might want from you. So it was like I said, it was a big difference, a big transition, and like I said, every coach wants something different. it depends on what other players they may have on that team. You know what I mean? And what coaches may look at you, like I said, my rookie year, they treat you like a rookie, whereas you're like, I'm not. I'm a pro, man. Like, you know what I mean? I'm this, that, and the third, but like you don't get treated that from everybody. So it's just it can be tricky. You know what I mean? You just got to stick with it and just maintain because like honestly, they get you up out of there quick. And people think it's sweet, like, oh man, well I just go overseas. It don't work like that. Because you got to think about it. How many other guys are trying to get that position that you're going for? Because they'll get about 2, 3 Americans, but how many agents are hitting them up and trying to get that spot? Then don't say you go over there and they get you straight off the plane, you go straight to the game, and you play and you're not what they expect you to be because you just got off the off the plane, you just got there, you just warming up, and you get there and you don't do well that game. They got somebody there the very next day. So
Sorry, I got a real fun. It's a crazy story, right? So when I was overseas, I was in Germany. I was playing really well. My coach was like, you need to get like practice is really boring for you, right? So he was like, I want you to pick somebody. Like he gave me a phone book stat. It's probably like 150 players in this joint, and he said, I want you to pick somebody in here just so you could practice against, because you got to continue to keep getting better. But like what I'm trying to relay is, okay, you might not want that job because you don't like the money or the situation, but the way they looking at it is there's 150 guys that want your position. So I might not get it right the first time, but I'm gonna just keep playing the numbers game until I get it. Right. And like I think a lot of us don't understand that. They like, it's so many Americans that are pressed to play over here.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna find somebody. You know what I mean? And that I don't think we understand that coming into it.
I mean, absolutely not. Like I said, like I've been in situations where I'm sitting in practice and I've been the guy that come in, they bring me in, and the guy I'm replacing, he don't even know I'm being replaced. So he looking like, who is this dude, or what position you play? And you know, that's my position. You know what I mean? You get stuff like that. It's super tricky. And then depending on the country you go into, they real snaky. So they do some snaky stuff to get your body. It's just, man, and so I tell kids all the time, like, man, like you gotta be on your P's and Q's from everything, because you can be partying and come in and smell like alcohol, and now you got a bad rap because you're a partier, and then now that bad rap follows you throughout overseas, everywhere you go. So now your money's getting cut short because they're like, oh yeah, no, you're a partier. So they might give you less money, or they might not take you at all. So it's like it's so much more. I think it's harder to make it overseas than to make it in the league, honestly, because of how much pressure, how snaky it is. I was just fortunate enough that I was in situations where whether somebody said, all right, we're bringing him in for 2-month tryout. I'm like, I don't care, just bring me in. I'm gonna do it up. So it always worked out for me like that. But like I said, if you go in there and you just think it's sweet, they get you out of there real quick.
So let's talk about your best year overseas. Like what was your best year? Where were you at? Obviously, you kind of talked about what you were doing well, but what was your best year?
My best year, it could have been in, I think, probably Turkey. That was probably one of my first years overseas. My first stint was in South Korea, though. That was everybody's career is not like that. Everybody, and that was where I got it misconstrued, because when I went to South Korea, everything was like first class, everything 5-star, first class, everything. The money was great.
They give you the double-decker airplane.
Man, I can't. I had the business class. They flew me business class. Because they gave me money before I even got there. So I did a signing. We did the training. The draft was in Vegas. So like as soon as you sign, they give you a check. That's like half of what you're gonna get. So you get a portion already. So I'm in Vegas. I'm like, I ain't no guy. That's how I want no gambling. So, but what I did do, I cashed that check. I said I need that in cash. So I had that money, threw it on the bed. I was just like, man, that was crazy. But like you know what I'm saying? Like I was doing that, but like they put me over there. Everything, like I said, was 5-star. I mean, it was like our arena hold like 10,000. That was filled up. Everything was just top class. So that was a great experience. But like I said, every country is not like that. But I played well there. did commercials and everything, played really well. But like I said, you just getting the learning experience in regards to the whole being a professional and everything that's expected. But in Turkey, that was great too. It was a new team. I played really well. My game was like clicking. I mean, everything was just clicking on all cylinders. So I probably would say like South Korea, Turkey probably was like my best um, time overseas probably.
Okay, and what would you say is your worst?
My worst, um, dang, my worst, probably like honestly probably towards the end of my career, like probably like when I was over in South America, I was in Paraguay.
Oh wow. Okay.
It was one of the places I was just like,
He's trying to catch a bag.
no, it was that, but it was like me. I should have retired like a year before, 2 years before, but that probably was like my probably one of my worst years because my body just wasn't there. I just the love for the game wasn't there. It was just like trying to hold on. You know what I mean? So it was probably was that time, but I was older. But that probably was like the my worst time of my worst career overseas.
Okay. All right.
So you definitely just talked about coming to the end. You said that body wasn't where you wanted to be at, but still, 10 years
Yeah.
playing, that's great. And what did you do far as any like diet, as far as any routine that to help withstand? Because of course, as athletes, our bodies are that set to be able to play for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like you definitely had to have some things in place just to be able to withstand the wear and tear.
Um, man, I probably was like I said, certain countries I was just like I said, I underachieved. To be honest with you, man, because my mindset was just it was different. So I didn't really take care of my body like I probably should have. I probably should have eat as well as I probably could have, worked out as much as I probably should have. Um, but yeah, that's probably like the biggest thing, man. Like I think like, it's important just to like you got to think about like LeBron. He my age, about to be 40. He about to be 40, but he's playing at a high level. I'm like, come on, that's unheard of. Like 39, but he also invested $1 million in his body over the summer. He also eat like great. I mean, he's crazy, but like the way he trains and the way he eats is like that's why Kobe was able to last that long. The way he ate, the way he trained. That definitely can go into the longevity. Yeah, you can have the mishaps in regards to injury. But like in regards to if that doesn't happen, just maintaining your body, eating. I didn't do that well. Sometimes I did. I try to take care of myself, but I also, was still, enjoying life off the court. That kind of sometimes, had effects with the on the court. So, but I think, for in regards to players, I think it's important to maintain and take care of your body if you want to play a long time. But
Was it ever you went to a team where they kind of had you playing a role that you didn't really like because pretty sure they come in and look at you like, oh yeah, he's a center, but you have so much more to your game. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, was it a situation where they say, okay, we want him to play inside, or we want you to roll to the basket, no pick and pop, like play that role?
Yeah, nah, I had situations like that. Then like I said, I was one of those players, man, that was stubborn, like stuck in my ways. Like man, that ain't my game. You know, even when I was at Maryland, like me and Coach Williams bumped heads so much because I was never a back to the basket type player. You know what I'm saying? So I always felt like when people try to force me that way, I go against it. But whereas in the sense like for G Dub, his mindset was like, I want you to be a more complete player to have both. You know what I mean? But my mindset was like, nah, like I think you trying to make me a center. I ain't no center. You know what I mean? So and even overseas, like they label you. I hated honestly. I hated being called a center. I hated being called a center because I'm like I'm not that first of all. And my game is more than that. So I don't because back then every position was just doing that one thing.
Yep.
If you was a center, you stayed back to the basket.
Yep.
Whereas now it's more freelance. Back then it was like you're a center, you're in a box. Because now I'm not. That's not my game. So you know what I mean. So I've been in situations overseas where I come in and they put me in the spot. I'm like, is that not watch film? That's not what I do. So it's been times like that, and like so it's the bumping of the heads, and I was stubborn and didn't want to do it that way. And You know, it could be like I said, they get you up out of there if you don't want to fall through. So it's either you fall in line or So it's like I said, yeah, man. It's been times for sure where I played positions that I was like, nah. Like I was over in Ukraine, for example, and we were short on big men. So the one team we played was like a EuroLeague team, and like two dudes that was like 7 feet, 280. Another dude that was 6'11", 2 6. So I'm the only big man. We just got another big man from Connecticut at the time. He was slimmer than me, so I had to guard the dude that was 7 feet, 6'11". Like they swole, you know what I'm saying? I was able to use my speed and stuff to advantage, but like you gotta think I gotta guard them on the defense. I mean, so stuff like that, like man, y'all put me in a situation that because over there, stats and everything is your money.
Yes.
So if they put you in the wrong situation, it can affect you. They don't care about what you're going after this. I do. They don't. So they like, what can you do for my team? And I'm like, so it was a lot of that going on, man. It was, yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say you need a bucket. What's your go-to? What you doing?
you need a bucket.
You need a bucket.
Honestly, man, like my bread and butter was like the probably the pick and pop type situation. Just like because now to put the defender in the situation, you gotta make a decision. You know what I mean?
Was you at the top of the key? Like when you pop, where
Yeah,
were
so
you at?
a lot of times I'd be like my game would be at the top of the key. Top of the key. Like that pick and pop because the way I used to do it, it's all about angles and stuff, man. So I'll pop it out, I'll flash this way. So you gotta make it's gonna be harder for you because this person go. So I used to play that game, man. You just gotta be knowledgeable about that stuff and the way the defender is playing you too. So a lot of times it's pick and pop, and then I have my one dribble step back. So they can drive because they think I'm gonna shoot a pump fake one dribble and I'm stepping back and I still can hit it. So it was stuff like that, man. Like they keep the game super simple, but like throw the defenders off and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. All right. All those places that you went, right? Did you ever get a chance to like enjoy the city or the culture of the area? So like when I played after practice, I went home and went to sleep because you had 2 days, and so I was tired as I don't know what. So I never really got a chance to experience where I was at. Like, did you get a chance to like dive in?
I did, man. At first, like when I was in South Korea, that was my first place I played. It was hard because we was in the mountains. So so our facility it was state of the art. Everything was in there. So I never left I've been in a whole week. I never left the facility. So because everything was in our apartment, gym, cafeteria, everything was in there. So I literally never walked out my place until we had a game in Seoul, and we stayed for like 2 nights, 3 days, and that's when I'll go out and explore. But it's in cities I've been in like New York City. But like when I started traveling more and like going like to Turkey, it was forcing me to do stuff. Okay. They forced me to try their foods. They forced me, not in a bad way, but like they made me like really.
Did you like it?
Take it. Oh man, that's like I got some of my closest friends over in Turkey right now. So every country I started going to, I started to explore and really take in. I adapted to that environment. So that's why they like really love me so much because I go over there, I take up the language, I'll take up the culture, I hang out with them. They love that, and then I'll try to speak their language. So a lot of places, even now, I still got friends over there. I go visit, hang out, and chill, and we still real close. You know what I'm saying? That's because I opened up to that. I was not always like that. I was not like that because sometimes you don't get along with your teammates, or you just don't like where you at, or you just don't want to be bothered with. But like after a while, for me, especially 'cause sometimes I was over there alone, I was like, man, I'll go off on my own and just like venture out. And I always connected with somebody or something. So yeah, man, that's what I ended up doing. And like I said, that's why I still got friends, just like family in different countries. You know what I mean?
Did you ever speak like any language that you can still speak now?
Turkish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Say something.
Like Medaba, like necessary, like so, like the. For me, my biggest things was when I went to every country I went to, I gotta know how to say like good morning, hello, good night, thank you, like those simple things. That would get me in. But like in Turkey, it was not a lot of guys speaking English, or like a couple of guys, so everything was in Turkish. So I started picking up every morning. They come in, everybody say United or United Jenum. That's like good morning, or
Okay.
good, my guy, you know, Concal, my friend, like Necessin, and like, oh, how you doing? Even send Necessin, like, I'm good, how are you? Like, things like that. So I always, or it'd be a situation I can understand better than I can speak it. So like one of my friends came pick me up from the airport. The cab driver was asking him a question, but it was about me. I answered that question though, because he was like my teammate was like, yeah, like nah, he knows this. I put the words together. I can understand it, and I'm like I can know how to respond to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Turkish is like part of it, and I love it too. So it's like
That's what's
yeah,
up,
yeah,
though.
yeah.
That's what's up. So name something like there's this thought process of overseas life, right?
Mm,
Right, from players or from people who didn't play, right?
mm.
And they're like, oh man, you get overseas, you about to get this bag. But like, name something that they wouldn't know about overseas life, as far as like the good or the bad, just experience wise.
Um, like the language barrier, obviously,
Hmm.
language barrier, the culture. Like I mean, you have some guys that's going from the league and go overseas, they can't make it over there. Everything's different. Like practices are different, style is different. Sorry, the style is different. The food is different. The environment is different. Like I said, I went from South Korea when I had a translator with me all the time. So any help I needed, or I had a manager. Anytime I needed something, I
Hmm.
had them. Then I go to Spain, but I don't have none of that.
Mm.
So and then they really don't they speak English, but don't really speak English that much. The part I was in, so I was on my own. I couldn't ask questions. I had to go places on my own. I had an older teammate at the time. He spoke Spanish perfectly well, and I just used to go to him for everything. And I was like, "Hey, man, I need you to do this." He said, "Nah, you gotta do it on your own." But he was saying that because I had to learn. That's how
To
you
help
gonna
you.
learn. That's how you
Yeah.
gonna learn. And I
Uh,
was just like, man, I just remember being like, dang, man, like. And I took Spanish classes in school. I took it in high school. I took it in middle school. I got straight A's in middle school. That's because I was, you probably was cheating or something. But like I took these classes, but I didn't take it seriously. I was like, I would never need this. And then I go to Spain, and I'm over there, and all they speak is Spanish, and like I can't like really get with it. So that was probably like the biggest thing, like the language barrier, man, and the culture. Like just it can be shell shocking depending on where you. I played it everywhere, Ukraine, in a small city. So think about playing in like a super small city in Ukraine, and then compared to like playing like being around the situation where you like down south situation, like you and that type of. It was so imagine that, and then like this, I can walk around the whole city in 45 minutes.
wow.
So everywhere I'm going, it's like in the hood, and so it was you got to be able to handle all that. You know what I mean? If you can't, then it's gonna be tough because every place you go is not the same. You know what I mean?
Did you ever have any interest outside of basketball,
Um,
like while you were playing?
During that time, man, probably not, man. It was strictly basketball, or like I said, my family at that time, and I got married and everything. But like outside of that, it was basketball been like my whole life until now. You know what I mean? So it's yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
So let's transition into this, like finding your purpose outside of hoops,
Mm.
right? I think a lot of players have a difficult time with that. You know, how was that for you?
Um,
Did you ever find your purpose? You still looking for it?
nah, I found it now. So,
Okay.
but like I said, because I've been playing basketball since I was 8 years old, and I played all the way into 2017.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So honestly, I should have retired in 2015, but I kept going 2 more years. But I always loved giving back and helping. I love sharing my knowledge and experiences, whether it's on the court, off the court, with other people.
Mhm.
I never like doing it on a public platform. I always like doing it like behind the scenes, or if a player come ask me advice. I mean, that's how one of my books got started because somebody asked me for advice. I talked to them for 2 hours outside of IHOP. But that was just something I was passionate about.
Yeah.
Just giving them back everything that I had. I want to share with you. I was always passionate about that. I was always passionate about like helping other people, not just in basketball, just in life, period. I mean, however I can do that, I love giving back. Um, so when I transitioned, I remember when I was one of my last years, I was working out with a young rookie in the gym, like just going through training, like just passing the ball, just going through different drills and stuff like that. And that stuff got me excited. You know what I mean? So I was like, dang, like, but it was also me giving him knowledge, and like, man, I do it like this, do it like that.
Yeah.
So I saw that passion there, so I was like, dang, like, maybe I could be a scout. Maybe I could be player development. I don't know. Like I just want to use everything that I've been through, everything that I have, to share with the next generation. So I don't even know what that looks like.
Right.
I mean, fast forward to now, whereas you got the nonprofit, but it was like just that giving. I'm able to still do that, give back, share my experiences in life. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's not just all about sports for me. Sports took up most of my life, but for me, once I retired, I had to go back and find out who I really was. Like, what did I like before basketball?
Yeah.
So now like I said, you got to track back until I was like 10, 11 years old. Like, what did I really like? Now I'm in film. Now I like creating. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I really liked before basketball. Basketball just took over my life because it wasn't something that I wanted to do. It was something that just I became good at it. It's just something I did.
Took over your
life. It really took over my life. So, like I said, I know this now because I'm older and talking with other people and whether it's therapy or whatever, just like finding my identity outside of basketball. Everybody knows me from basketball. So I'm like, I gotta find out. All I know is basketball, so I gotta find out like who am I? Really, it's a real thing. And a lot of people, especially athletes, you lose yourself because you're caught up in this thing and in the spotlight. And it's like, man, dang, did I really love basketball the way it was? Or was I just something I was good at? I was 6'9", and I love succeeding. So I'm like, all right, so I just did it. They said I can, like, I ain't know nothing about, like, I have potential, like, to go to the league or play high college basketball. I didn't know that until people told me that. I was ranked number 2 every grade in the country. I didn't know that until somebody showed me that. I didn't know these things. I didn't care about them either, though. People just showed me, like, yo, you, like, oh, for real?
You felt like you was living somebody else's dream at times?
Like I said, look at older now, looking back at it, I was fascinated with the parties and the girls and the clubs, everything I saw in the music
What
videos.
came with?
Yeah, I was like, dang, that's dope. And because of me growing up, I wasn't like the popular kid outside of basketball. And then once I started playing basketball, where I was accepted in these circles, these cool circles. So even after basketball, I started realizing like, them dudes really don't mess with me like that for real. Or my personality don't even fit in that circle for real. I just did it because we hoop. So this is the circle I sort of belong into. So I didn't know that, but I'm like, dang, we're not on the same page. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't notice until afterwards. But like when I was, like I said, when I was in middle school, elementary, I wasn't a cool kid. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that dude. Basketball made me that. You know what I mean? So it's really an identity shift, bro. Like I said, I'm still learning this to this day. It's like, this is something that everybody else created. It's not who I really am. So it's like I had to really like find who I am. So now I accept who I really am. I don't care about what everybody else's perception is. It's like, no, that wasn't even me. That's who y'all wanted me to be. You know what I'm saying? I just gave into that, but this is who I really am. So that's why when I'm doing certain things, people are just, I rarely talk about basketball unless people bring it up. But I'll bring it up in regards to relating it to something else. You know what I'm saying?
So man, let's talk about the nonprofit. It's Think First Global. Like, let's talk about that. Like, what are you trying to accomplish with it? Your goal, your mindset, your mission statement. Let's get into it.
So basically, with Think First Global, I basically teach kids critical life skills using the game of basketball. Like I said, the nonprofit kind of just happened. It wasn't nothing I was planning. I love helping. I love giving back. And then it just was like probably a couple of years ago when I realized like the age group I wanted to work with, like the 6 to 14-year-olds. Like my Think First Global is a conglomerate. Like it's an umbrella, like
Right.
So we had a nonprofit under there, but also mentor and speak to. So I go to high school and colleges, and I'll speak to them as well. We have books, and we working on a TV show for it as well too. So it's like, but I'm using the game of basketball because that's what I played.
Yep.
Yeah. And I learned so many life lessons through that. So I basically used that to teach the skills. You know what I mean? Because like I said, even to this day, I learned so many life lessons from the game of basketball. And I'm like, dang, and I think, like, for me, I'm super, like, I see kids getting caught up in situations and ruining their lives now. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in situations where I got caught up and got in trouble, and my situations affected on the court. My situations off the court affected on the court. And I lost a lot of money, a lot of opportunities, a lot of doors were closed. I mean, it affects you for years. You know what I mean? So I'm real passionate about that. Like every time I see somebody caught in a situation, like, it hurt me, you know what I'm saying? Even if I know them or not. So I'm real big on like the whole point of the organization is to teach kids confidence, resilience, perseverance, all these things that whether you want to be good at basketball or not, but you need it for life, period. Character building, you know what I mean? Confidence, you know what I mean? Like you teach a kid confidence, I mean, it can do anything in the world. Literally. So like I've seen it. You know, so it's like, man, if I can teach kids confidence, perseverance, resilience, and use these things, then, you know, it can help so much throughout their life, you know, because a lot of times they may not get it at home, they may not get it from the coaches. So I'm like, man, like, how can I change the trajectory of things and change the mindset and everything? I think that's super important. I think it's missing in the game of basketball. So I'm like, yo, I'm going after that. The piece that's missing.
Intangibles.
Yeah. So that's what the nonprofit is about. It's about. It's basically it teaches people to think first before they make their choices. You know, not just think about how the choices are going to affect now, but how can it affect, you know, you years from now, or how can it affect your teammates, or how can it affect your family, or how can it affect your friends, how can it affect your kids. You know, a lot of stuff, a lot of choices I made when I was younger affected a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time. You know what I mean? And it's funny because my Coach Williams, my senior year, the season was over. I remember I shot a three. I thought it was a good shot. I come back to the bench, and he just like went off. And so he went off. It was something big. It was something outside of basketball.
Took that jacket off.
Yeah, he was just like, you know, like, you've been selfish. Like, you've been selfish your whole career. Like, you've been selfish. And I'm like, I got really upset. I'm like, I'm the most giving person. I can call me selfish. And then like years later, my therapist is like, yeah, you selfish. And I'm like, everybody keep calling me selfish. Not everybody, but like these are the only two people that really call me selfish. I'm like, how? Because I give back so much and I help so much. So how am I selfish? Then she was like, you know, being selfish is basically making choices and not thinking about how it's going to affect other people.
Oof.
And once they said that, I was like, dang, that changed everything for me in regards to how I maneuver, the choices I make, and then thinking back over the choices I did make and how it affected so much. You know what I mean? So I was like, dang, I was selfish. So I think that's some of the biggest things I want to teach in regards to helping these kids to like think first, help people to think first, because you see it over and over again. How many people have lost their careers, their jobs, their families over choices that they made that for that one moment, but it affected so much. And don't say you're a celebrity in the way the world is now, and everything is social media, and you done. Unfortunately, that's just the way the world is. So I'm real big on like teaching people like gotta think first. Don't just think about the now. Think about how this is going to affect. So even me, it was honestly for me. The think first aspect, that thing came up for me.
Yeah.
It just grew into something else. Everything just came with it. Merchandise, everything just started coming with it. And people was like, yo, I want that. I'm like, and now I got to figure out how to do this. And then like think first global with the kids. I'm like, I'm real big on that. I said, teach kids confidence, the resilience, the perseverance. That's going to change everything. And so I'm start them young, build that foundation. Now, as they go up, nobody can trick them. Somebody told me this already, like, oh, I know where that's from, or, you know, I got this big math, I'm starting math class. I don't know what this is, but I remember Coach Garrison, you know, we learned this over here, whereas take time, if I keep practicing, I'm gonna get better at it. So let me try this in this position too. So that's why I'm basically drawing that line in black and white and simplifying it for the kids, like, you know, see how it relates.
Man, I love that, man. They say you can't pour in anybody else until you got your cup full.
Exactly.
And like you just said, you worked on yourself first, and then you can focus on the community.
Right.
But you can't focus on the community till you build yourself up.
Absolutely.
So, nah, man, salute. Talk about the book really quick. It's called The Crossover.
So the crossover, A Bridge from the Court to Life, I wrote the foundation like in 2013. I was over in Turkey. Didn't know what it was going to be used for. All I did was take the fundamentals of basketball, passing, shooting, rebounding, those simple things that kids going to learn anyway. Anytime you start basketball, you're going to learn those simple things. So I was like, let's start there. Then I seen how they related to life, whether it's, you know, rebounding. That's in life. You rebound in life. You bounce back. You know, you make poor choices. You failed the test. You know, you didn't do well in the game, but you still got opportunities to bounce back. I mean, you got another game. You know, you got another test, things like that. You know, passing. You know, in the game of basketball, in order to get your man a shot. You know, you got Steph Curry over there. You got to make a good pass to him,
Mhm.
get him right. So it's just like in life, you know, passing good energy, being positive. We was athletes. You've been on teams where your teammates was positive, man. You good, man. Get the next shot. Or you got teammates that's like, man, don't shoot the ball no more. Like, so you had, but you see how you probably handled that. Like I think you was talking about, like, when you guys like. So I just seen how the differences they make. So like you pass good energy, be positive. That's important. You know, pivoting, like, you know, going from this direction to that. I grew up in a neighborhood where my path could have went two different ways. I had dudes that was on the streets doing drugs, you know what I mean, involved in this, and I had my people over here that was had their heads on straight. I could have went either way. I chose to go this way though. I mean, I could have chose to go that way and been in a whole different situation. So that's important too. So I basically use all these different terms. And as I'm working, as we do programs and camps and things like that, I show the kids as we're practicing that, I teach them how they can use these same skills in school, at home, the classroom, just being character building. So that I basically just, and I show that like in black and white for them. Like, you know, when I'm talking to them, like, you know, dribbling, oh, I can't do it. Well, of course you can't do it. It's hard. You just started. But, you know, the more you practice, the better you become. And throughout that day, they see how they perfecting it and becoming better. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, so the same thing happened in the classroom.
Yep.
You starting that for the first time, it's going to be hard because it's new. Anything you start for the first time, when I did basketball the first time, it was hard. I practiced over and over. I became good at it. That's because I practiced though. You know what I mean? That's the same thing. So they see that as, oh yeah. So I asked them questions at the end, like yeah, think first. Like then they tell. So they see that, but you have to break it down for them.
Connecting the dots.
You have to connect the dots for them, make it easier. Like, oh yeah. So I'm like, that's what I'm big on. I like take my time. It's all about patience, you know, practicing. So that's what I'm teaching. So that's what this book is pretty much about. It just we do the program. They go with the book. So now after they go home, they review the book. They're like, oh yeah, so this is how the relationship. I give examples and things like that, and questions they can answer and things like that. So yeah, man, this is like, I ain't gonna lie, this is like the thing that was like, yo, this is it right here. You know what I mean? I'm still we doing different edits now, but because it breaks down to the simplest form for the kids and for people. You know what I mean? For the young kids, and I think it's crucial, and I think it's game changing. So yeah.
Where can they get the book from?
So you can check out the website. It's thinkfirstglobal.org. It has, you know, everything about our programs, the book, merchandise, you know, me coming up to speak and things like that. Yeah, so go to thinkfirstglobal.org. We're also on Instagram at thinkfirstglobal. So definitely check us out. You know, you have any kids, you know, I do speaking engagement. We have different programs. We now add in math to a program with it's called NBA Math Hoops. They partner with the Washington Wizards.
Okay.
So they use statistics to teach the kids math and basketball. So kind of similar to what we're doing with life skills, but they do it with math. So we just partnered with them. We got a 12-week program starting in January. Excited about that. So, you know, definitely check us out. And yeah.
All right, cool.
So jumping back into the basketball part. So what are your thoughts about the NIL and just social media altogether? Like, does it hurt? Does it help basketball? You know, me personally, I like that the players be able to make money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, for their likeness.
Of course.
But I feel as though social media, you know, this is one thing I didn't like when somebody was in the NBA and in halftime they on Instagram. It's you know, so for me, you know, when we played, we was very serious, respect the game. I couldn't see myself never doing anything like that. So, like, what do you think about the whole social media and NIL?
I don't know. It's crazy. Like you say, go to the point of NILs, man. I think it's great. I think it's very important that, you know, the players do get paid. You know what I mean? I wish it would have happened years ago.
I know, right?
I'm like, dang, I'm glad it didn't for me. You know what I mean? Because the way I was rocking back there was different. But in regards to the players, I think it's good that they get to make money off of their name. Because I mean, how much is the university getting? You know what I mean? So I think it's a great thing. I think it needs some some handles on it in regards to it. And I think they're going to get it because it's new. So I think it's throughout the years. I think that's going to change in regards to how they go about doing it. Because you got to think about some players come from nothing, they get all this money. Then so you got to think about that money get taxed too. They don't get taught that either though. They don't know that. So it's things like that. I think it needs a better handle. I'm happy that the players are getting paid. They get paid a lot. It's crazy, man. I don't even fully understand it, but I think it's a great thing. I don't like the social media part. I'm glad I didn't have it back when I was in college. Thank God I didn't have it back in college.
Yes.
I would not been in school. It would have been.
I think all three of us.
I'm glad. I'm super excited. Like because the way I was moving back then, and the way everybody's paparazzi, it'd have been a situation, you know. And I think that's when I talk to players, man. I've seen kids lose scholarships because of what they post online. The coaches don't have to go far no more.
Okay.
They go online and just they see who you are, how you moving, then who your friends are, you know, who you following, what you posting, all that stuff. And like I said, I saw players lose scholarships because of what they post. I mean, how many people got caught up what they tweeted, what they posted? They get fined, they lose money, they lose
years back.
So it's. I mean, they have enough lessons in front of them that show them like, hey, man, you gotta be careful what you go about doing. So every time I talk to kids now, like, man, you gotta think everybody around you is paparazzi. It's unfortunate you gotta move that way, but that's just what it is. You gotta adapt to it. I mean, you gotta think. I was just talking to somebody the other day about like LeBron. Bro, he been on the spotlight since high school. And he's 21 years in the league, and you don't have. I mean, you got a great PR people, but at the same time, like. You don't really have nothing.
No L's.
You don't have nothing because of how he knows that though.
Does he think first?
He think real talk. So it's like and then the people around him too though. So I think social media is horrible. I think we were just talking about in regards to, you know, just like when it's some guys when it's playoff time come, they don't even get online. Because the way people get on it, you can talk crazy to them. You know what I mean? So it's like if you get caught up in that and the back and forth, and some people get emotional. So I'm not a big fan of the social media. I know you need it now for business purposes. But like I don't like it. You know, I know you need it, but it just all depends. But everything is all depends how you manage it and how you handle it. So I think you know it can go both ways.
Yeah. So now, like currently, do you watch the NBA?
Not really. I got so much other stuff going. I just don't. When Kobe got out the league, I think I really stopped. But before that, I was a big KG fan.
Oh, okay.
So like, so I really was watching it then. Obviously everybody watched it when Jordan on them was playing. So like, but now because of the way the game is, it's not as intense as it once was back when we was coming out. I know we can say we old, whatever. But like when we back in the days, every game was a good game.
Yeah.
Because everybody out that joint, they going at it. Whereas now, somebody might not be playing, or they chilling, or they coasting. So it's not really a good game. So it all depends on who's playing. Because you know some players will go out and they're gonna play hard regardless. So it's gonna be a good game. But like if the dogs still watching now, barely. But it depends on who's playing and what the situation is. So if it's like a playoff or, you know, NBA finals or playoff game or good playoff game, I'll check it out. But
you always talked about the entertainment piece of it. About the game being entertainment more than
it's not to me it's not like about skill set or skill anymore. It's just straight entertainment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business,
of course.
So you know, it's got to generate money, and it's just, you know, to the point of the 3-point is like the best shot in basketball. You know, other than, you know, just a dunk or alley-oop. That's to me that's more exciting. I mean, I was a shooter, so I love to shoot. So cool to see Curry pull it from deep, but I still would love to see Vince catch a oop and jump over somebody and put him in the rim. So it just really just became like just total entertainment to me. But to getting back, you said you like to watch KD. What other players that was your favorite around the time?
So KG was my favorite player. Obviously, like I said, growing up, you had Michael Jordan. KG overtook Michael Jordan, obviously, once he got down. But, like, I love watching KG play because it's funny, my game wasn't like his, but I'm like trash talking all that stuff. Like I got like KG, so I really like. I used to rock. I had the on my notebook. I had that KG mentality. Like that was like everything that he did. I loved it because he walked on the court and he first quarter to fourth quarter he like left it all out there.
He
He was
brought
a
it.
dog, you know what I mean? So I was like he used to give me hype. I used to watch his highlights before games. Like he used to give me pumped. Like I used to get all type of texts because of him. Like it's like, but because like he used to give. So I literally used to watch highlights before I used to play the game because of how he played. So he was like my favorite player, man. Like he was my favorite. So it was KG. So everywhere he went, I was like, all right, you know, when he went to Boston, I became. So I never really followed the team. It was always the player. You know what I mean? So guys now, I mean, I like Morant. Obviously, you got Katie. I mean, watching him play, you know, yeah, man, it's just you know, yeah, like I said, you got a few guys that's still like you know that go out there and play hard every game. That's just interesting to watch. But yeah, so it's
Okay.
Cool. So we got a little fun game we like to play, man. It's called, I guess, this or that. We ain't really put a name on it yet.
I ain't coined it yet.
I think we're gonna add those chaos push-ups to this. You know, so you either gotta pick one or the other or both.
Okay.
Right? But we haven't really put a consequence to picking both yet.
Yeah.
But I got these push-ups that I've been doing that I think we're gonna have to line them up. We're gonna have to line that up. All right. So we got Morgan Wooten or Gary Williams.
Coach Wooten.
Okay. Dematha or Maryland.
Dematha.
Okay. Overseas or G League? D League.
Overseas.
Okay. I think I got him on this one. Corey McCray or Chris McCray.
Oh man. You go first. Both.
All right. Training or mentoring?
Mentor.
Okay. Confidence or skills?
Confidence.
Okay. Got another funny one for you. John Gilchrist or Steve Blake?
so that's just what it depends on what you're looking for. I'm not all right.
It's whatever you want. This is just your answer. Okay. All right. Terrence Morris or Joe Smith?
Dang, well. I'm gonna go with Timo because Timo can shoot that three too, though. So Joe Smith had that game where like Timo could do it all. Yeah.
All right. T-Mac or Grant Hill?
The uninjured Grant Hill.
It's whatever way you want. T-Mac or Grant Hill?
Dang.
That's tough.
Dang. Yeah, that's probably go with T-Mac.
Okay. One is a popular one. D Wade or Paul Pierce?
Yeah, that's funny. Cause you going with like Paul Pierce a bucket, but he's slow. D Wade splash, you know what I mean? So he's. I'm gonna go with Paul Pierce.
Okay. All right.
The truth.
It's funny. I like to ask that question because I feel like nowadays I don't think Paul Pierce get a lot of respect.
Not at all. He don't get none.
And I'm like, man, y'all just don't know. Like I
Truth.
always
They
tell
call him
people
truth for a reason.
that LeBron move was Paul Pierce's move before LeBron. That
Yeah,
joint,
yeah.
he used to crush balance with that.
Slow too.
But don't nobody know that.
Right.
And no, that's no disrespect to D Wade.
Yeah, of course not.
Like Paul Pierce was really nice. All right. Malone or Barkley?
Malone.
Okay. I think I know this one. KG or Tim Duncan?
Okay, see. All day long.
All right. Kobe or Bron?
Kobe.
Okay. MJ or Bron?
MJ.
Okay. All right. That was good. That was good. All right, man, we about to wrap this interview up, man. Is there any final advice you want to give to parents or the youth? You know, anybody watching any game you want to give?
What I tell parents now is you can win it for your kid, but if your kid don't have a love or passion for it, then it's not going to work. I mean, I'm all for the parents getting the kids involved in sports just to, try it out or see if they like it or not. But like the forcing the kid to do something because you see how much money can be made in it, it's not going to work out because the kid's not going to be happy. And the kid, the one that's going to do the leg work, and also going to practice, the training, the working out. So even if you still win it for him, if he don't want it for himself, then it's not going to work out. So I think that's key. And then for the player, don't look at the money, the cars, the house, all the stuff that can come from it, because you got to work to get that, and then you got to maintain it. But I think a lot of kids got to misconstrue in regards to they look at the success, but they don't see what comes, about how they get there though. So you got to be able to, like, if you love the game of basketball, for example, you got to be able to eat, sleep, everything basketball because there's going to be days you're not going to want to wake up and work out. But if you want this thing so bad, you're going to have to do it. So it's going to have to push past, I want the money and the cars, and you got to like to love the game. So if you don't love it and you're not passionate about it, then it's cool just to do it for fun, you know what I mean? But like trying to like become like the LeBrons, the KDs, they eat and sleep it, you know what I mean? But if you're not willing to do that, then you just gotta find whatever your passion is. And what you're passionate about is something that you do for free. That's your passion, that's your purpose, you know what I mean? So you just gotta look at it like that. So that's for the parent and the player.
Cool, man. Well, definitely, man. I want to thank you for coming on.
I definitely appreciate y'all, man. What y'all doing is amazing, man, and it's needed. And I definitely appreciate you guys having me on.
Cool, cool, man. Hopefully you all took advice from here. He already gave y'all his IG. What was it again? What's your Instagram?
So for the organization is Think First Global. My personal IG is Travis_Garrison, the number 4.
Cool. Make sure y'all tap in and check in with him. Rennie, you got anything?
Thank everybody for tuning in. See you in the next episode. Stay game related.